Classic TV fans, Rick 9G here. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation, one of my favorite series of all time. We're going to look at a few bloopers that I think you're absolutely going to love. Before we get into all of them, be sure and check out my Patreon page where you can get exclusive content seen nowhere else, and it's a great way to support the channel. By the end of 2022, my goal is to reach 150,000 subscribers, so please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so to support the channel to help me reach my goal. Let's get to the first blooper. Now, it comes from an episode in season 1, number 13, and it's called Angel 1. In this one, we have Riker, Troy, Data, and Yar beamed down to a planet. Now, this planet is ruled by a matriarchal society and a matriarchal government as well. Try to say that 10 times fast. Now, there was hopes of locating a missing freighter crew. Now, we all know that season 1 isn't the best of episodes, but this is probably my favorite blooper of this entire video. I'll show it to you, and I think you'll be absolutely surprised when you see it. Now, notice Riker and the character with him is called Beta. Now, they sit on the bed together, and they're drinking something on this couch-like type furniture. Now, when Beta puts her glass down, there's a hand, just like a stage hand. It's not part of the story. It is obviously someone from the crew on the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Now, this hand reaches for the drink and removes it for her, kind of getting it out of sight, out of mind, so we can focus on the dialogue between them. I do want to give a little bit of warning. This is not found in the Blu-rays. You can only really find this in the unaired versions in syndication or on the DVD versions. So just a little heads up for that. Really crazy blooper. I'm so glad I was able to show it to you. Now, the episode that's called When the Bow Breaks. This is the 16th episode of season 1. Now, in this one, there was a planet that was able to cloak itself or make itself invisible for thousands of years when suddenly it reveals itself. Now, the inhabitants are proposing peace to the people on the Enterprise ship, but after some initial and beginning negotiations, the children of the Enterprise are unfortunately kidnapped due to an infertility that is happening among the inhabitants. Now, this one is kind of quick, so you might miss it, but it has to do with Riker. Now, he is finishing talking with a character named Harry, and Riker continues to walk into the turbo lift. Now, a lot of these turbo lifts we think are just automatically opening and closing depending on the presence of a human, but no, there were stagehands out there, pulling on the ropes. There was also a lot of lighting that was used on the inside of these turbo lifts to make it brighter when the actor would come in. Well, if you look on the right hand side, there's a leg that is visible from a lampstand. It can be seen, as I mentioned, on the lower right hand corner as Riker is walking into the turbo lift. Now, I want to ask how many of you seen this moment or have seen this episode. Tell me what you think. Remember, this is not in the remastered Blu-ray version. Our next blooper comes from season 4. It's episode 5. It's called Remember Me. Now, this is a pretty good one. It's kind of a little bit creepy. It's all about Dr. Crusher. Now, she fears that she's losing loved ones and pretty much everyone aboard the USS Enterprise when her worries about this become an alternate reality. It's really creepy as everyone starts disappearing throughout the episode. Now, there's a scene where Dr. Crusher's on the bridge. Now, she's on the bridge many times, and this is roughly in the middle of the episode. Now, she's all alone, and right before we have this effect of the universe collapsing, you can see a camera rig and a camera crane in the reflection of the plastic. It's pretty cool because it's not just a quick movement. It's there for a while. You see the whole boom moving there and even parts of the camera there. It's really, really funny if you pay attention to it. I want to know if any of you caught it while watching the episode. Now, this episode from season 5, it's episode 8. It's called Unification. It's the second part of the Unification two-parter. Now, this takes place on Romulus. Picard finds Spock, which is so cool, such a cool concept. And there's an underground peace movement here. And as a double agent, the bold ulterior motive is against the Federation. And we see a familiar foe that we have seen before. And I won't get into all the episode and all the nuances and so forth. Maybe that's for a future episode. But this is a really startling blooper. Now, it's when Picard, Spock, and Data are in the scene. Now, they have just escaped from the Romulan commander Sela. Now, when they're walking out of the room, there's this green glass ornament. It's very shiny and it's glowing green. Look at the reflection. I'll point out to you. You can see a crew member with glasses too. And the reflection isn't in an instant. Now, it happens quickly, but what's crazy is you can see the crew member very clearly. It's actually a little startling if you really notice it, and I'll leave it here for you to see, but it is really, really interesting. Did you ever notice this? Now, to conclude this video, again, this is an amazing blooper that I'm really happy to bring to you. It's called Birthright, or the episode's called Birthright, but it's the part 1 of the 2-parter episode, Birthright. From season 6, it's episode 16. Now, what's really cool is we have a merging of 2 shows. We have Deep Space Nine and Star Trek The Next Generation kind of coming together with the USS Enterprise kind of docking right on Deep Space Nine. Now, a Uridian tells Worf that his father is actually alive. And a discharge from an alien device puts Data in this dreamlike state where he meets his own father. Now, this dream sequence at the end is very interesting. There's a part where Data flies around the ship kind of like a bird. Now, it's the second dream experience that he has, and he's flying, as I mentioned, through the Enterprise, and he flies past his quote-unquote father and the anvil that he's hammering. But I'll point him out to you. It's really slow, but look on the side. There's a crew member who's just sitting in one of the hallways of the ship. Obviously, this is not supposed to happen. You could also say it's part of the weird part of Data's dream. It was maybe some type of malfunction that he was having, and this random man is sitting here. But he's sitting behind those double doors, and he looks so awkward there. He's so out of place. He's not even really in uniform. Obviously, he's just part of the crew. But I want to know if any of you noticed him in syndication when you have watched this episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love bringing you these bloopers. It's not a way to put down the show at all. I've done bloopers on many of these classic TV shows. Let me tell you, to me, it makes these episodes and shows more fun, because if you rewatch them, there's more things to watch and to see and to spot, and it makes you, at least in my eyes, appreciate the episode and the show even more. Love to know your thoughts down below. Which one was your favorite out of all these bloopers? If you want to see more, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like button, as well as leave a comment down below and subscribe. It does help out the channel so much. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, everyone, be hopeful.